Hey folks, what's going on? Well, this is my 1987 Plymouth Grand Fury. This is a twin to a Diplomat or a Chrysler Fifth Avenue. It's called an M body. You folks up in Canada have these. They're called Caravels. We actually had a Caravel down here in the States, but it was a front-wheel drive version of some kind of car. But anyway, if you followed this channel for a while, you'll know that I've had this car since last fall, and I've just went through a laundry list of stuff that's needed attention on it. It wasn't in bad shape. The car overall was a really nice, solid car, but I guess the previous owner's philosophy on fixing things was generally don't, unless it impeded the progress of the car. If it wouldn't go anymore, I guess they fixed it, and they did do oil changes, but other than that, if something quit working or it broke or broke off, just ignored it. So to that end, I've had a lot of little things to deal with on this, and I got to a point where I'm going to need a shop manual, so I got one for this. I got the factory shop manual, and you've seen that in a previous video, I think. So what we're going to work on today is we're going to work on the wipers, and what's the problem with these wipers is the motor runs, but well, let me back up a second. When I first got this, I didn't have any wipers at all. Nothing happened. I had the motor ran, but the blades didn't do that, so they have to do that or they can't see, obviously. So I dug into it, and I knew right away, I knew what was the deal with that. And what it was just what I assumed, is that if you go down in the cowl down here, you can see part of the linkage right there. You have a wiper motor there, and you have your pivots right there, and right there you have, it's like all these, you have like a little arm that comes off the motor, and it's got a piece of linkage that goes to the left one and pulls it back and forth as that thing rotates, and then the left one has a connection to the right one, and when it goes back and forth, it makes the one on the right go back and forth also and do its thing also. So what happens is this has got these crummy bushings in them. They're little plastic bushings, and they just push through the arms, and they push onto the connector stud in there, as you'll see, hopefully, if we get this all out of here. And they break apart after they get 30 years old, and then you have to replace them. So that's what's going on with this one. I replaced the one on the left one. I just snaked my hand down in there and got the one put on down there. I think it was the one actually on the motor I had to do the first time. And then promptly the one on the right broke, so now I don't have any right side wiper motor or wiper action. So I've got to fix those. And I was looking at this, and I was thinking, how in the world am I going to get my arm or my hand down in there to do that? There's no way. So what it is, according to the service manual, is you have to take this grate off of here, this little plastic thing that's already off of it. It's in the garage because I was already messing with this a long time ago. And then you have to pull the wiper arms off. So you get those off, and then you can get access to disconnecting the linkage, and the whole linkage comes out. So I'll do a little bit of a step-by-step on that, kind of show you what you're going to get into. It's a little bit different from these over here. These older A bodies had the wiper linkage under the dashboard, and they broke just as often as these other ones did. But at least with them, you could do them from in the car, even though you had to be on your back to do it. So it's just a really annoying thing with these Mopars, and I don't know why they just put some sort of clip arrangement on there, like a metal clip, but they figured they couldn't do that. So anyway, we got to fix it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop the hood down, and then I'm going to put you on the tripod. Well, we'll have some kind of scummy weather lately. A car show coming up Saturday that I want to take this thing to. It's a Mopar show we have every year. I didn't go to the one last year. I skipped it, but this year I got the car, something actually running that I can drive there, so hopefully. So I hope the weather cooperates. So anyway, let me just get kind of in here with this, and these things just have a, I guess I need to show you that, don't I? If you look at your wiper down there where it kind of, it's just a splined arrangement. Sorry for that, I'm trying to hold this tripod too. But anyway, right down here there's a little, like a little piece you're gonna try to kind of pull out, and you may have to pull the arm up a little bit. So I'll show you sort of what I'm doing here. If I can maneuver this around. I may have to kind of stand in front of you, but what I'm gonna try to do is, don't worry about if it's all the way down or all the way, it doesn't matter, because when you turn the wipers on and off, they park. So you know when you run them, and then even with these blades off of it, the arms off of it, when you run them and turn the switch off, it's going to always go down to park. So all you got to do is just park them and put the arms back on, you're done. So just keep in mind that these arms are different. This one has a, they call this thing this little extra arm that kind of pulls it, cantilevers it a little bit. Forgot what they call that. So make sure you put the right one back in the right place. So the one on the right one does not have it, this one on the left does. So let's just go ahead and kind of mess with this and see. There we go. All right, I just pulled that out with my finger. I got that one out with my fingernail. So let's see if we can sort of wiggle this thing out. Loose. That's not right either. Shouldn't be that much slop in that. Yeah, I got better once I get this thing out of there. There we go. You got to just kind of wiggle it a little bit. Wiggle it just a little bit. So this is what I'm talking about, the little, they call this something. You guys that drive trucks or buses, you've probably seen those. They call this some kind of action wipers. Damn, I hate that when I can't think of a word. So anyway, we're going to take these things off, and then you're going to come down, and you have a pivot right here. Right there. See that? That's a pivot. And what's going to happen is you got a big nut right here. It's got to come off from the outside, and it comes that, and then this thing ought to drop out. But before we do that, we're probably going to need to go ahead and we're going to get this other arm off here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to disconnect the linkage from the motor. So go ahead and take your just thought of something funny, but you're going to take your other arm off just like I did this one, and lay it to the side, and then we're going to pop the hood open, and we'll go from there. You want to watch? I was going to laugh. I'll tell you, I was laughing at it last night, and I've forgiven Musty One for the ad thing, so I'm watching his videos again. Like he would care. No, anyway, someone watching one of his videos is doing the transmission swap, and I think somebody likes some of these little adult-themed innuendos sometimes, which that's fine. I thought it was hilarious because he said there's already a couple nuts hanging under the car. That was funny. I was going to say a couple what? What was that? What'd you say? See? That's not right. Alright, just popped it up. There we go. And you may ask, you say, well, does this have some sort of a spline, like a master spline on it somewhere that it helps you position these back where you know where they go? Like a thicker spline in one spot? The answer is no, it does not. So, oh well. Good. Alright, so I'm going to cut you guys off for this few seconds. It's going to take me to get some tools and get this lifted up, in the interest of not making this too awful long. So I'll see you in just a split second. Okay, you guys are on a suction mount on the windshield, staring down between the hood and the cowl, and I don't know exactly what you can see, but I'll do my best. What has to happen is there's a nut on the back of this motor right here, I'm going to take off because that takes the link off there. Of course I would get one of these, it's too big. Alright. And yes, the motor will try to turn, obviously. So how we can do that? Let me see here. Maybe I can kind of. I don't think that's loose there. Yeah, it is. Felt kind of weird. Is it? Yeah, it comes off. That nut felt kind of strange there. Like it was smaller than the socket, but the book says it's a 7/16. So there it comes. Got a nut there. Maybe you saw that, I hope. And we should take our master link, just comes off like that. It's keyed. It's got 2 flat spots and 2 round spots. Alright, you'll see that. Okay, another train coming, so let me get you set up outside here and put you back on the tripod. Alright, well, Mopar helpfully did not provide a size for this nut here, but I'll let you in on a little secret. It's a 7/8 12-point socket. So, put this on like this. Alright, so we have a little basis for our cantilever. That was the word I couldn't think of. Maybe I did think of it. I can't even remember if I thought of it or not. In bad shape. So anyway, we got all that out of the way, and let's see if we can, there we go, drop the pivot right through the cowl. So get this repositioned. So don't mess with me. Raise y'all up just a hair so you can stare at the other one. This tripod's kind of fighting me today. The other one. It's been asleep for a decade. See that? You got a little seal right there too, which I'm going to take off. Did you see that? Sorry. Goes down below that, and so it's gonna be a good time now to be able to clean those out. Okay, so Mopar says that you should be able to raise the hood up again and move the tripod and whoops, sorry, so sorry. Oops, sorry, whoops. And easily just withdraw the wiper linkage. So let's see. So you got a left pivot over here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work. All right, here's the left pivot. Good thing I did take this out, because look at this one. This one's about to go too. See that? So this is the one I replaced already. You see how it looks nice and new. So, but anyway, just kind of for reference, just remember that your pivot kind of goes like, I guess, straight up here. Okay, so something to point out before we all get too mixed up, especially me. All right, those holes right there, they have a spot in them that's squared off, like sort of at the bottom. So see how there's a flat made on right here on this pivot? So that locates it. So you can't put this thing in wrong. Just remember it goes up like this, but you can't, you know, that prevents you from messing up. So don't worry about that. That was smart of them. All right, so only one broken one on that side. Let's see what we get out of the passenger side over there. I got bluebirds living all over this shop building. Isn't that neat? Ah! I'm just kidding. Oh, that's a long one. All right, so see what we got on the Okay, so this one was getting a little bit loose. You hear that fluttering? Oh, there he is. See if I can raise you guys up without him flying away. Sit there on the eaves, look right on the corner of the building up there, see? Or her. Anyway, I guess they're raising babies up there. But anyway, why am I talking so quiet? So anyway, we're going to replace these other two now. This is just a crap box idea they had with these. But see how tough they are. Nope, see, there, it just broke the end of it out. See how they're crumbling? So that's what happens when these things give way and you're going down the road and all of a sudden your wipers quit moving. Right, so actually I had a little bit of stuff in it, grease in it from the factory, but I've got some I'll put in there too. And a little secret to this is when you go to put these back together, and on this one, by the way, the locator tabs on this one were faced up. Like when it's in the car, they're faced up. So a little secret is to take and, which I did on this one, so when you go to put these new ones together, just put a little stable hole in the center of it so it doesn't trap air, and put a little bit of grease in it. And you should be all good to go. This one looks okay. I'm going to just double check it. I tell you what, I had the hardest time keeping stuff in the frame. Yeah, that one's nice and tight. I'm not completely sure I have it all the way down on there though. Looks just a little bit crooked. Like I said, I was doing this one with a pair of channel locks, so now that was the wrong way to do it. Alright guys, so basically we're going to just put these things back together. So there's a bird to my left over here looking at me. And it just flew off, but the birds are friendly around here. It's alright. I'll get set up here at the table and we'll fill this further. Okay then, time to put all this back together. So you can have this long rod here. This is your cross rod, as it's called. If if you look stamped on the ends of this, you're going to have a R stamped on the right end. You're going to have left stamped on the left end. And not to overcomplicate that, but that means this is left on the driver's side, this is right for the passenger side. So the way this works is these both hang down, and these pivots both kind of drop down. There's no room above them, so they have to sit like this in the cowl. So you're going to have the right side rod is going to go over the front side of this like this. So you're going to have a bushing that goes over it like that, faces forward, and then the other end is going to go on the back, the dashboard side of the left-hand pivot, the driver's side pivot. So you're going to have when you get done with this, if you do it right, your little bushings, you're going to have one cup faced in, you're going to have the other side's going to have cup faced out. So it's kind of confusing, but just make sure you go ahead and do your holes I told you about in the center. I think you must have already done that one, but we're going to drive a hole in here, and then we're going to take a little bit of grease, and we're going to grease these pivots. This is just lithium grease, white stuff just like what was in there, except not 30 years old. And yes, I have my book out here for a cheat sheet, and I want to make sure I did this right, so because you guys need to make sure I did it right. Alright, so what we're going to do is this end here, see how it's oriented, it faces forward. You're looking at it, it's going to face this way, so this inset is going to face the front of the car. That's what they're saying. Hope they're right. Alright, so sometimes these things will squeeze in here just by hand, but into the linkage, but not always. So I get tired of fooling with them. So I just take my big squeezer here sometimes and I just go to town with it carefully. Let's get one side started. These things are a pain. Really, but they fight you and they don't like to go in. And okay. Still did it wrong. Can you believe that? Golly. You gotta pull this thing back out again. I have lost my mind, I think. I'm telling you, there's too many possibilities for this. Ow, that hurt. Alright, bring you guys back when I get this thing together. Okay, so got that one put together. It's the right side one after a struggle. No joke. So now we got to put the driver's side together, and driver's side's got two studs on it. The one facing forward is from the motor, this one, and the one facing back is the link right here from the other, whatchamacallit. So yeah, bushings, like I said, are going to be opposite, so make sure you put this one in so the hole is facing forward, and we're going to lube it. So I just don't mess with these things. I take my big pair of channel lock pliers and carefully squeeze them together. Like so. That's it. All she wrote. I don't mess with them. Make sure they're all the way on. They are. Looks good. So, and we're going to do the last one here, which I already done this one. It comes from the motor. So, just going to leave it a little. And squeeze it on. Boy, if this thing's all apart, you just about have to have the book to show you how to do it, because geez whiz. Yep, you just about can't push these things on with your hands. Alright, so I'll take a look at it here. Sure it's all looks good. It does. Alright, so we're not doing anything with the motor end because it's just it just bolts on. Alright then, so I gotta, let me see, make sure I've got this one on all the way, which I think I do. But I'm gonna squeeze it a little. Make sure it's 100%. It's good. Alright guys, so I'm gonna put these things back in. I'm gonna clean those little spots where they are bolted in at, get the dirt off of it. And I'm gonna, one thing, since I had to wrestle with this linkage a fair amount, I'm going to just make sure that everything's adjusted. The rods haven't got bent a little bit, so you'll have to bend them back the other way. So just tweak them. But I'll get all this bolted in. See how she does. Right then, so I'm just essentially just putting this all back together and bolting these things back down again. So you have to make sure you turn these little, whatever these are, ferrules or something that go back up under here the right way, so they orient this to go through so where the flat is. So don't force it. It doesn't go the first time. Make sure you put the nuts on straight. Supposed to be a torque spec on that. I don't know what it is. I think it's in the book maybe. And what I meant by, if you have to tweak the linkage a little bit, when you push on those grommets and stuff, you have a tendency to kind of bend the end of the linkage a little bit. So I had bent this one and it was kind of facing, the pivot was facing a little bit to the left, which you don't want. So I had to just kind of carefully bend it back in the correct orientation. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pop the hood back up, and we're going to put this linkage, you guys won't be able to see it, but we'll put this linkage back on the motor here. Hopefully. Another train. It's gonna take me a minute or three to get that stupid linkage back up on the motor's output shaft there. It's got two squared off spots on it, so you gotta make sure you have it up on there. It'll strip it out, so I gotta work on that. Back in the jiff. All right. Gee. So I'm gonna cycle the wipers once and let them park, and then we'll put the arms back on. That should be park position. Okay, so not really a cut and dried spot here for this. Just whatever looks good to you. I'm gonna start with this, and then if it looks good, we'll leave it. If I need to adjust them, I will. How's that sound? Highly technical. Okay, on this one, don't forget your cantilever. Goes on right under it. It's just a little stud that slips on it, that's all it is. So, I'm gonna go just a little bit lower with this one. So, probably about right there. Good. Don't force anything, you know. Alright, so if you do anything. Out of washer fluid. Hey, alright, good. That was a good job, but that's an infuriating job. And I notice these things don't park all the way back. I may have to adjust those down again, but I have to drive it a little bit and see how they look when I'm using them. So anyway, all right guys, that's how you do it. And like I said, you can find those. Here's a suggestion about those grommets. You can get these at the parts store, but the parts store will screw you over, and the only way they'll sell them to you is like in one of these little multi-packs. It's got all this other crap that you'll never need ever as long as you live, and it's too much money. So what I suggest you do is go either to your Mopar parts counter and get several of them, or do what I did. I just ordered those off the internet. I think I got them from Rock Auto or someplace like that, that has just those in it. That's all you need. And I think there was 10 in there, and it was, God, they were cheap, like 20 cents a piece, something like that. So no need to buy crap. That's what the parts store does to you. That's why I don't like parts stores, because they sell you stuff you don't need. So that's what I suggest. If you got a project like this coming up, just get them off the internet. And also, if you're curious, it's the exact same grommet that goes on that car there, and that car there, and that car in there. So it don't matter, you're gonna get confused about it. So thanks for watching, guys. It's getting dark. Hope you saw anything there at the end, but I'm gonna get cleaned up and you're in for supper. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on another one later.